There was some worried people about the drop. Gold had almost hit 4,400, and they're talking about that big drop, and maybe it's going lower, which, of course, is what happens in a bull market. You get these violent sell-offs to scare people out. But the bottom line is gold's $4,000 an ounce. In fact, it closed the week almost right at $4,000 an ounce again. Yes, we've traded below. We haven't traded below 3,900. The lowest I've seen gold was in the lower 3,900s, 3,920, 3,930. And it's gotten above 4,000. I think it got to 4,020, 4,030 this week. It's been hanging out at that area.
In a financial world filled with noise, predictions, and short-term excitement, Peter Schiff cuts through the chaos with a simple message. The fundamentals still matter. While markets react emotionally to daily headlines, Schiff focuses on long-term economic truth, particularly the unmatched value of gold and silver as real forms of money. During his talk, Schiff addresses a central problem in today's financial system. Investors have grown detached from economic reality. He explains that people get caught up in short-term optimism, ignoring the structural weaknesses in the economy and the dangers presented by endless money printing and artificial interest rates. Schiff argues that confidence in the US dollar and the broader financial system is built on illusion. Governments and central banks attempt to maintain stability by manipulating data, adjusting narratives, and inflating markets. But these tactics cannot last forever. According to Schiff, once that illusion breaks, only assets with intrinsic value will survive. And that brings him to gold and silver. Schiff emphasizes that gold and silver are not merely commodities. They are real money, trusted for thousands of years and immune to political manipulation. While the price of precious metals fluctuates in the short term, Schiff believes their long-term trajectory is clear. As governments continue to devalue currencies, precious metals will rise. He points out that many people expect sudden, dramatic price moves, but the real story of gold and silver is gradual, powerful, and inevitable. Schiff warns that the public often waits too long, only buying metals after prices surge. Those who understand the underlying economic pressures should be accumulating now, before fear takes over the markets. The disconnect, he says, lies in public sentiment. At economic events or in conversations with investors, Schiff often observes misplaced confidence and a refusal to acknowledge the seriousness of the situation. Many people still believe central banks can fix everything. Many believe inflation is temporary. Many believe markets will always bounce back. But Schiff insists that ignoring reality doesn't make it go away. Ultimately, his message is clear. Gold and silver are not investments of fear. They are investments of understanding. They represent stability in a system built on debt and uncertainty. In a world drifting toward financial instability, Schiff reminds us that those who prepare, those who understand the true value of precious metals, will not be caught off guard when the economic tide turns. Now, we present the clips from Peter Schiff interview. Before we continue to discuss this, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
I expected the mood to be even more jubilant than it was, considering how much the price of gold had risen between the conference a year ago and the conference this past week, and in particular, the gold mining stocks, because it's really a conference dominated by mining stocks. Almost all the exhibitors in the exhibit hall are gold and silver mining companies, with a few others, thrown in there. But the vast majority are mining companies, and pretty much all the attendees invest in gold and silver mining companies, in addition to the physical metal. And, given where we were, I expected even more enthusiasm than I saw. Yeah, I think it was a little bit more upbeat than it was a year ago, when there was a lot more despair and frustration. And of course, a year ago was a great time to be buying gold and silver stocks. But I heard a lot of people talking about taking profits, selling. There was some worried people about the drop. Gold had almost hit 4,400, and they're talking about that big drop, and maybe it's going lower, which of course is what happens in a bull market. You get these violent sell-offs to scare people out. But the bottom line is gold's $4,000 an ounce. In fact, it closed the week almost right at $4,000 an ounce again. Yes, we've traded below. we haven't traded below 3,900. The lowest I've seen gold was in the lower 3,900s, 3,920, 3,930. And it's gotten above 4,000. I think it got to 4,020, 4,030 this week. It's been hanging out at that area. This is very similar to the way gold behaved when it first broke through 3,000. Yes, it wasn't a line in the sand where gold didn't go below 3,000, but it didn't go much below 3,000. And eventually it took off and then went above 4,000. I think we're doing the same thing now. I think we're forming a base right around 4,000. And before you know it, we'll be at 5,000. But meanwhile, a lot of investors aren't going to own gold for that ride because they're getting shaken out now because they're getting so nervous. I think gold is forming a nice base here at 4,000. Silver, it's not, at 50, but it ain't much below it. It's around $48 and change. I mean, it's holding pretty steady, very close to $50. It's not tanking back down to 40. So I think, again, this is another opportunity, just like when silver was around 30, and I was saying 30 is the new 20. 50 is really the new 30. I mean, yeah, you could buy it a little bit below, but for who knows how long. So buy yourself some physical gold and silver at Schiff Gold. The gold mining stocks, again, a lot of these stocks are now in bear markets. It is amazing how far off their highs most of these gold and silver mining stocks are, even though gold is almost 4,000, even though silver is almost 50. These stocks have lost almost all of their gains, since gold was, I think, 3,600, 3,700, since silver was 40. A lot of these stocks are back down to where they were when silver was 40, even though it's 50. And they're just so scared because, well, it was 54, so it's going down. So what? It was 54 for like a day. I mean, if you took that 1 week out, we'd be at the highs, right? I mean, where we are right now is, a month ago, this would be record highs for gold and silver a month ago. Yet there's so much bearishness among investors. And there's not nearly enough bearishness among crypto investors. They're completely complacent. They're happy as clip. They're not worried at all that Bitcoin is going down. They think it's on sale. Hey, it's $100,000. It's on sale. On sale, you're buying nothing and you're paying $100,000. The sale is on gold and silver. And where the sale is whatever you would buy if you just sold your Bitcoin up here. But people don't want to sell it so much that they're going to borrow against it, where they're going to sell it. It's just going to be sold out from under them at a much lower price than if they just sold it right now. So get your gold and silver, buy these mining stocks. My gold fund, the Euro Pacific Gold Fund, EPGIX is the no load, or go to Europac.com. You can set up a separately managed account. All of my strategies, I think, are going to do really, really well in the years ahead. But in particular, this is a time to be adding to the gold stocks. And if you don't have any gold stocks, well, now's the time to incorporate them. You've got a gift horse pullback, a dip, a pretty big one, as an opportunity to buy.
Peter Schiff warns that investors have become disconnected from economic reality, focusing on short-term market reactions instead of long-term fundamentals. He argues that the financial system is built on illusions created by money printing, low interest rates, and manipulated narratives. When this illusion collapses, only assets with real intrinsic value will hold firm, specifically gold and silver. According to Schiff, gold and silver aren't just commodities, but true forms of money that cannot be manipulated by governments. He believes their long-term value will rise as currencies continue to weaken. Schiff cautions that most people buy precious metals too late, after prices surge, instead of preparing in advance. His core message: gold and silver are investments based on understanding, not fear. In a fragile economic environment, those who recognize their real value will be better protected when financial instability intensifies. If you find this video informative, please support and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the following video. Thanks for watching.